Hi children, how have you been? I hope you are all good. I know you are all very energetic today. How do you get this energy? Yes, you are right. We are getting energy from the food. Can we live without food? Most of you are saying yes and few of you are saying no. Yes, we can live without food, but that too for few days, but that too by drinking water. So we can't live without food. We can't do our work without food. We can't get energy without food. So not only human beings, children, all the living organisms in the world need food. There are two main sources for the food. Do you know what are they? Yes, plants and animals are the main sources for the food. In today's lesson, we are going to learn what are perishable foods and what is called spoilage of food and what are the causes for the spoilage of food and what are the effects by eating spoiled food and how can we prevent the spoilage of food and what are the purpose for the spoilage of food. We should know what are the purpose for the prevention of food. Okay. Now let us learn, children. We need food for the proper functioning of our body. So our body needs all the nutrients such as proteins, carbohydrates and fats for its proper functioning. So if you won't get all these nutrients, definitely you will be affected by diseases and you can't do your work regularly and you won't get any energy. So you need food with all the nutrients, otherwise you will be affected by many diseases. Okay, if you take all the nutrients in a right proportion, definitely you will not be affected by diseases. Okay, if we preserve the food properly, then you will not be affected by the diseases. You should preserve the food since it gets spoiled easily. Okay, so the spoiled food also will create diseases on our body. So we need to preserve the food we eat. So for this purpose, in this lesson we are going to learn how can we prevent the spoilage of food. Okay, food items like fruits, vegetables, milk and meat will be fresh for very short period. These are called perishable foods since they get spoiled easily. You all know, children, the fresh juice, no, it gets spoiled easily. Even not only the fruits, even the vegetables are getting spoiled easily. So they will be fresh for very short period. So these are called perishable foods. Okay, look at the image, children. Now what happened to the tomato? It spoiled. Okay, why? It is not fresh for a long time. Okay, look at the fruit, children, it also spoiled. Why? Since they are all perishable foods. Now look at the salt and the rice. They are not perishable foods. Why? Because they have long lifetime. So they are non-perishable. So some foods are non-perishable, as we have seen in the image, rice, salt, sugar, these takes long time to decompose. Even this also will decompose, but it takes long time. But fruits, vegetables is getting spoiled easily, so they are called perishable foods. Now I think you can understood what is perishable food and what is non-perishable food. Okay, what is called spoilage of food? The change in the normal state of the food is called spoilage of food. Okay, now look at the images, children. Now what happened to the banana? It got spoiled. Why? Because the change in the normal state of the food makes the banana to spoil. Okay, children. Now if we eat the spoiled food, what will happen? You will become affected by many diseases. So it is unsuitable to eat. You have noticed the changes by eating the spoiled food. It loses its taste and smell bad. You know, no? So the spoiled food smells bad. Okay, eating the spoiled food may cause many diseases. Okay. So now here is the task for you, children. Now you are going to classify what is perishable and non-perishable food items. Okay, here the list is given. Just I will read out the names. Now you tell me what is perishable and non-perishable food. Salt, orange, papaya, sugar, wheat, rice, apple, pulses, tomato, corn, cucumber. Now, is salt a perishable one? No. Yes, it's a non-perishable food. And what about orange? As I said already, fruits are perishable items. So, here orange, papaya, apple are perishable foods. What about sugar, wheat, rice, pulses? They are non-perishable, even though they will get spoiled, but they have long time to getting decomposed. So, salt, sugar, wheat, rice, pulses, corn, everything comes under non-perishable foods, and orange, papaya, apple, tomato, cucumber will come under perishable foods. Okay, children. Now, what are the causes for the spoilage of food? Let us learn what are the causes for the spoilage of food. Once the food is harvested from the plant, it started to spoil. Okay, it started to decompose. So, if you are not maintaining that food item properly, definitely it is getting spoiled. Okay, what are the root causes for the spoilage of food? So, air and oxygen reacts with the food and it makes the food spoil. Okay, moisture, enzymes, microorganisms, light and temperature. So, these are the causes for the spoilage of food: air and oxygen, moisture, enzymes, microorganisms, light and temperature. Let us see one by one. When oxygen reacts with the food contents, what will happen? It changes the color and the flavor of the food. You all know, children, once we cut the apple and kept it for the 2 hours, what will happen? Definitely the color of the apple changed. Why? Because the oxygen reacts with that apple and it makes the changes in the fruit. So, the color of the apple gets changed. Not only apple, lot of vegetables also. Even if we cut and kept as it is in the table, what will happen? After a long time, you can see the changes in the color. Even taste also varies. Okay. Now, moisture. Moisture keeps the food fresh. Okay. When the moisture is gone, vegetables and fruits started to shrink. You all know Mosambi. If you keep that Mosambi for 10 days, what will happen, children? It started to shrink. You won't get any juice from that fruit. Okay. So, the fruits and vegetables need some moisture. Lot of moisture will lead to the growth of microorganism, but it needs certain amount of moisture in it, so that it keeps the food fresh. Okay. Due to evaporation, moisture loss occurs in foods like meat, fish and cheese. Okay, look at the image, children. What happened to that fruit? The fruit started to shrink since the moisture has gone out from that fruits. Okay. Now, there are few reasons for the decay of the food. Enzymes. We all know about enzymes. Enzymes acts as a catalyst in the digestion. So, it breaks the larger molecules into smaller molecules. So, it helps in the digestion of the food. But if the enzymes reacts with the food items in different ways like oxidation, browning and ripening, so the food items started to decay. So, if you see the banana, what happened? The enzymes reacts with that banana and it makes the banana to decay. So, it is not in the right position to eat. Okay. Now, microorganisms. Microorganisms, we all know what are all microorganisms: bacteria, fungi and yeast can grow well in low temperatures. If we keep the food items in the low temperature, what will happen? Microorganisms grow well. For example, if you keep curd for 10 days, what will happen? Bacteria multiply in that curd and it is not in the state of eating the curd. So, if you have that curd, what will happen? You will get some diseases. So, once the microorganisms present in the food items may cause diseases, they multiply in the food and spoil them. Okay, look at the image, children. These are all the microorganisms present in the food. Okay, the another factor which reacts with the food and causes spoilage of the food is light and temperature. Light produces color changes and also vitamin loss. Okay, if you expose the fruits and vegetables to sunlight, what will happen, children? Definitely you will lose the color of the fruit or vegetable and even the vitamins also lost, because the light changes the color and it reduces the vitamin present in that fruit and vegetables. So, during a summer season, definitely we won't be able to get the fresh fruits and vegetables, since the rise in the temperature causes food spoilage. Okay, now here is the task, children. Look at the fruits and vegetables at your home, and if you notice any spoiled one, you find out the reason for the spoilage, because we have seen what are the causes for the spoilage of food. What are the causes, children? Air and oxygen, moisture, enzymes, then microorganisms, light and temperature. So, these are the causes for the spoilage of food. You notice why the food items at your home are spoiled and you find out the reason for it, children. Okay. Now, if you eat the spoiled food, what will happen to you? Okay. If you are not eating the fresh fruits or vegetables, definitely the taste was changed. Okay, spoiled foods are not suitable to you eat. They may not be fresh and tasty. Sometimes it will be harmful to consume them. If you take the spoiled food, it creates many problems in your body. It leads to stomach pain, fever, dysentery, vomiting and indigestion. So, the spoiled food leads to foodborne diseases such as stomach pain, fever, dysentery, vomiting and indigestion. Sometimes you have heard the word from your parents that food poison. So, food poison is nothing. If you had the spoiled food, definitely you will have the foodborne diseases. Okay, children. Now, how to preserve this food? Okay. So, the process of keeping the food materials for a long time without being spoiled is called preservation of food. Okay. So, if the food items are not prepared, preserved and handled in the right way, definitely it will lead to the spoilage of food. So, there are many methods to prevent, delay and reduce the spoilage of food. Okay. In our country, we know cultivation of food requires lot of efforts, since food cultivation and the crop yielding are decreasing. Why, children? Because we are lacking in the monsoon, failure of monsoon. Okay, there are many people suffering in the world without food, so we need to protect and preserve the food. Okay, so what are the food preservation methods? How can we prevent the spoilage of food? So these are the food preservation methods, children. Drying, addition of salt, addition of sugar, freezing, boiling, canning, addition of chemical preservatives. So these are the techniques to preserve the food: drying, addition of salt, addition of sugar, freezing, boiling, canning, addition of chemical preservatives. Okay, first we will see what is the process of drying. So if you want to remove the water content from the food, we need to follow the process of drying. Okay, if you expose the food items to the sunlight, you can remove the water from the food. So example, grains. You all see your mother expose the food, grains, pulses, etc. to the sunlight. Why? Because to remove the water from the food items. Okay, so next is addition of salt. If you add salt to the food items, definitely it will remove the water content. So if you once you remove the water content, we can prevent the growth of the microorganisms from the food. So the addition of salt to the food removes the water. So for example, fish and pickles. During summer, our mother prepares pickles by adding the salt to it. I think you all know it. And look at the image, the salt is added to the pickle. Okay, now addition of sugar also prevents the food spoilage. For example, jam, fruit juices. Okay, the sugar dissolves in the water content of the food and preserves the food items from spoilage. Okay, fruit juices. If you does not add any sugar to the fruit juice, definitely it will be spoiled within 1 to 2 hours. If you add sugar, it will preserve the food for at least 5 hours. Okay, now what is called freezing? If you expose the fruits and vegetables under the some temperature, which means frozen condition, definitely it will avoid the microbial growth. So the microbial growth and the enzyme activity on the frozen food items can be prevented by the method of freezing. So fruits and vegetables are kept in the refrigerator. Why? Only to avoid the microbial growth and the enzyme activity. Okay, children, now you can see the image. The food and the fruits and the vegetables, juices are kept inside the refrigerator in order to avoid the microbial growth and the enzymes. Okay, the another technique is called boiling. So once you boil the food items, it kills the microorganisms present in the food materials. So even if you are sick, doctor suggested to drink hot water. Why? It kills the microorganisms present in the water. If you drink uncleaned water, it also creates some diseases in your body. So in order to kill the microorganisms present in the water, boiling is the technique which can kill the microorganisms in the water. Okay, even milk or pasteurized, since it is heated at the temperature of 60 degrees Celsius in order to kill the microorganism presented in it. So next, canning. Canning also prevents the growth of the germs on the food items. So, food is packed in a airtight cans so that germs do not grow on them. For example, milk powder. You can see children, milk powder or packed in the airtight container. Why? So, the germs should not enter into the can and to avoid the growth of the germs. Okay. Now, addition of chemical preservatives. Okay. Some chemical preservatives are added to stop the growth of microorganisms in certain food materials. You all know children, so sodium benzoate is added with fruits in order to control the growth of the microorganisms. Sulfur dioxide is added with the dry fruits and vinegar is added with the pickles. This is very important, children. You should know what is added to avoid the food spoilage. So, sodium benzoate is added with the fruits, sulfur dioxide is added with the dry fruits, vinegar is added with the pickles. Okay, these chemical preservatives will stop the growth of the microorganisms. Okay. Now, you should know what is irradiation. Irradiation is the modern method. It is the modern method in which the food is exposed to gamma rays or ultraviolet rays to kill the bacteria and the fungi. So, food items are exposed to the gamma rays and ultraviolet rays in order to kill the bacteria and the fungi. So, it does not affect the taste of the food or nutritive value of the foods. Okay. So, for example, in onion and potatoes. So, onions and potatoes are exposed to gamma rays and ultraviolet rays in order to kill the bacteria and fungi present in it. Now, look at the image, children. You can see how the gamma rays and ultraviolet rays are exposed to the onions and potatoes. Now, hereafter you should follow the technique which I am going to tell you now. Whenever you are going to the shop, whatever you are buying, definitely you have to see the manufacture date, expiry date, ingredients present in it and the energy content of the food material. Since if you eat expired food, which means the spoiled food, definitely you will be affected by many type of diseases. So, hereafter whenever you purchase anything, you need to see manufacture date, expiry date, ingredients present in it and the energy content of the food material. Okay. Now, what is the purpose of food preservation? We should know what is the purpose of food preservation. We all know food production has increased due to modern technologies. Even though the food production has increased, but a lot of people in our world are suffered without food. One part of the people are wasting the food and the another part of the people are not getting even a small quantity of food. So, we need to preserve the food. So, and moreover, nowadays agricultural practice is abandoned. Why, children? It is because of the failure of monsoon. Okay. Now, many people in the world, as I said earlier, many people in the world are without food. So, food should not be wasted by any means. Okay. So, hereafter you should not waste food in any manner, children, since all the people are suffered in our country without food. So, you need to preserve the food and you need to give it to the needy people. Okay, children. Why we need to preserve the food? So, to retain the color, taste and nutritive value of the food, we need to preserve. So, once the food are preserved, we can retain the color, taste and nutritive value. And moreover, if you preserve the food, you can have that food for available throughout the year. To prevent the growth of microorganisms like bacteria and fungi in the food items. So, if you preserve it properly, as we have already seen what are the causes for the spoilage of food. So, under the causes we have seen microorganism causes many changes in the food. So, if you preserved it properly, definitely you can avoid the growth of bacteria and fungi in the food items to reduce the wastage of food items. And preserving food not only protects our health but also makes food available to the people who need it. Now, here is the question for you. You need to answer, children. The biotic factor which spoils the food item is dash. The second one, sodium benzoate is added with dash. And third one, grains are preserved by dash. Fourth one, bad smell from the food item is due to dash. And fifth one, dash does not affect the taste of the food materials. I think you are all ready with your answers. Shall we verify, children? The biotic factor which spoils the food item is bacteria. Okay, sodium benzoate is added with fruits. Okay, grains are preserved by exposing it to the sunlight. Bad smell from the food item is due to decay. Dash does not affect the taste of the food materials, irradiation. What are called perishable foods? Second one, define spoilage of food. Third one, what are the causes for spoilage of food? What are called perishable foods? Food items like fruits, vegetables, milk and meat will be fresh for very short period. These are called perishable foods and they get spoiled easily. Yes, children, very good. Define spoilage of food. The answer is the change in the normal state of the food is called spoilage of food. What are the causes for spoilage of food? Air and oxygen, moisture, enzymes, microorganisms, light and temperature. Okay, children, so hereafter you should save the food and you should share it with the needy people, and you should take the proper diet, which means balanced diet, and you should take healthy food and live happily. Thank you, children.